What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. One channel announcement too. I don't know if people know or not, but I do offer one-on-one coaching calls. If you are interested, the Calendly link is down below. If you have any questions, you want to book a one-on-one coaching call with me, happy to do it. All right, that's enough for that. So I got a question, or I was talking to someone the other day, and they asked me, they said, hey, now as a senior manager, like, is your life or is your job harder, or do you feel like it was harder as an associate? Because as an associate, I'm completely lost and I'm just having a really hard time. And I think this is such a good question. And to answer it in short, I think it's all relative. I mean, when I remember being an associate, 9 years ago, and don't get me wrong, it was brutal, it was difficult. I mean, like testing cash was my whole life. Like that was my whole career, my whole career was on the line for testing bank statements and reconciliations, right? And now it's different. And now the stakes are higher, right? Now instead of just, the cash reconciliation or maybe testing expenses or, I was assigned the prepaid section. Now my job is the whole engagement, right? And today I kind of wanted to shine light on kind of some of the things that senior managers do and why I'm saying that it's all relative. It's not like it's harder now. And sometimes I do think it is. But again, back when I was an associate or even a senior, I mean, those things seemed like the end of the world to me also. So as you progress in your career, everything is relative because it's if as an associate, just learning, how to audit and learning sometimes basic accounting things, that's within itself is just like super stressful, super detrimental, and making sure you get sample selections out on time and making sure you get your work done on time. And those things like that, I mean, I remember they were all that mattered to me. And now obviously it's handling multiple engagements, it's doing a bunch of things. So I kind of wanted to shine light on kind of what my day looks like as a senior manager now, what I typically do. Obviously every day is different in public accounting. I mean, sometimes I'm on meetings all day and sometimes I have to review work papers and sometimes, I mean, every day is different. And, I will say this, that's one thing that's really cool about being a senior manager in public accounting. I have pretty much autonomy on my schedule. Unless a client wants to meet in person, I pretty much dictate where I'm at, where I'm going to go. I can choose to work from home if I want to. I can choose to go to the office. I can choose to go to a client's. I can pretty much do whatever I want. Obviously, in the grand scheme of things, I need to make sure my teams are okay if the team needs me in the field, whatever the case may be. But just the autonomy I have behind my calendar and my schedule is something that I really value. Obviously, right now it is busy season and it is busy, and I will make a separate video on why this was, I think, my hardest one so far for sure. It's just been difficult. This one was definitely, but again, I go back to the same thing. It's all relative. It's all relative. You could ask me this question every March was this one harder than the last? I would say, well, I thought the last one was harder, but this one seems harder. And they all have their own nuance, especially as you continue to progress in your career. But just wanted to kind of make this video a lot more, what a senior manager does, since I got the question about, I don't know if my team sometimes or people just think that, I'm like the senior manager guy and I just sit at home all day in my, duplex and I'm just here, just chilling on the couch, watching whatever. No, that is absolutely not the truth. Although sometimes my work isn't just, doing bank reconciliations or, vouching invoices and doing all the things that are super important to an audit, my job entails a lot more now. But again, it's not that it's a lot more because it's better or more important. Everything's important in its own way, but just to kind of shine some light on what a senior manager does. So the first thing I do, and the first thing that I'm pretty much expected to do, is manage multiple engagements at once. Right now, I can tell you guys that I have 5 different engagements going on that, had to be done by 3 by April 30th and 2 by May 30th. With that being said, having 4 or 5 different engagements at a time can be very, very, very stressful for sure. Sometimes I even ask myself, I don't know how the heck I do it, but a lot of it is time management. A lot of it is managing my calendar. I can't stress it enough when I tell you guys, like, manage your calendar like a professional. It's because it's true. Like, that's how I have to do it. If I don't manage my calendar, if I don't take complete ownership of my day, of my calendar, my day just flies by. Next thing I know, it's 5 p.m. and everything I wanted to do that day, I didn't get to it. And days like that do happen, but I try to minimize those as much as I can because, again, I have to manage multiple engagements at once. And with managing multiple engagements at once, I need to make sure from a profitability and an efficiency and an effectiveness standpoint, we make sure we meet the deadline. We make sure that the job is profitable. Obviously, I work at a public accounting firm. My job is, to make sure we make money. And now being a senior manager, it's not so much of, hey, let me make sure just the job's done and we issue the report, the audit report. If now it's, okay, let's issue the audit report, let's build a good relationship with the client, and now let's also make some money on this job because we're in business to make money. That's what we're a public accounting firm. We provide a service in exchange for, cash, and, we try to be profitable on the engagement. So that's probably the biggest part of my job is managing multiple engagements at once, making sure we are effective in reaching the deadline, making sure we provide the client exceptional service, and also making sure that we are profitable on that engagement. The second thing that I do, that's a big part of what I do, is I have to review pretty much every single work paper that my team performs, and anything essentially as a senior manager or partner, a big thing that we do is we have to make sure that the audit work that we did is going to substantiate and support the audit opinion that we're issuing for whatever client we're doing. That being said, I need to make sure that the work papers are able to support the fact that, cash is properly stated, revenues are properly stated, expenses are properly stated, prepaid, whatever the case may be, anything above our materiality that we set for a specific job. I need to make sure as a senior manager on the engagement that all the work papers that my team did, that my team prepared, I need to make sure I'm comfortable with them and they reach a certain level of assurance that the work we did is going to support the opinion that we're issuing. That's essentially what I'm doing. And with that, I literally have to review every single work paper that my team does in a whole audit file. So even when it comes to, scheduling my reviews, I make sure that I try to the best of my ability. I try to be a good leader to my team, and I try to schedule my reviews on time, because what ends up happening is, the team could get done with the work and then I review super late, and then the team's going to maybe roll off the engagement, or their allotted time is going to be done, and then I'm not going to review till the end of it. So then I have questions after, and then they're already working on another engagement, and it just becomes a mess. So like I said, I think the big thing about being a senior manager, it's not like, I have one, I'm servicing one client and that's my, client for the next, 2 months, and that's all I have. No, in my case, I work on slightly smaller companies. 100 million to 600 million is pretty much where I play. And with that, I have to make sure that I manage my reviews on time, because I want to make sure I review on time. I give my team adequate time to look through my review notes, my comments on the work that they did, and they can clear back my notes, and we can kind of continue to work towards, getting the whole project completed. That being said, again, it goes back to being a professional about my calendar. I am meticulous about my calendar. I stick to it. If you do not have time on my calendar, seldomly am I just going to give you an hour of my time if, you don't try to at least book something or let me know in advance. Obviously, if you're my audit team, I'm going to try to make time, but I definitely appreciate it more when people try to, if it's going to take longer than half an hour, at least just put something on my calendar that day, or even if it's the same day meeting, totally fine. But at least I know I can plan ahead and say, okay, during this time, I'm going to do, X, Y, Z. A huge part of what I do is I have to manage the client relationship. Any job, any project we're working on, any client that engages us to perform the audit, I need to make sure that I manage that relationship. And, one thing I tell my, especially young auditors all the time, is that don't be such an auditor sometimes, understand that we're a nuisance to the client, because, obviously they have their day-to-day job. I've been a corporate controller. I know you have your basic day-to-day function you need to do, and then you have the freaking auditors pestering you about, hey, can I get a copy of the bank statement? Hey, can I get a copy of this invoice? Hey, can I get a copy of XYZ? Whatever. Can I get this reconciliation? Just understand, as an auditor, know your place. And I promise you, I think that's the best way to build a relationship with your client. You can even make a joke about it, like, hey, look, you don't want me here and I don't want to be here. No, you don't say that, but you get what I'm saying. Like, obviously they understand that, hey, it's an audit. We're required to do this from the bank or, the SEC, whoever. And just have them know that you're a team, essentially, kind of, in a way. You're working toward the same goal together. And I think that's where I definitely have been able to shine a lot. Other than the technical aspect of the job, obviously I know accounting, I know debits and credits, I know audit. But one place that I feel like I've definitely shined in my career, and I think that's why I've been able to progress so quickly, is because of the relationships I built, whether they're internal or external. That's a really big strong point of mine. I definitely try to cultivate and nurture the relationships I have with my clients. And, sometimes building relationships with clients is having the hard conversations with them also. I do feel like it's not so much sometimes that every time it has to be good news. I recently had an experience where, the client just wasn't ready. Things weren't going as planned. And, I had to have the conversation and say, hey, look, I know we have this deadline. I know we have things going on. I know you need to, give your financials to whoever. That being said, your team just isn't there yet and they're not ready. So I think we need to reassess the timeline. And those conversations are much better if you have them 3-4 months prior to your deadline than, a week before you're supposed to be done. And then you say, hey, by the way, client, we're not going to be done on time. That is a huge no-no. You, as a senior level person, you should know and you should be assessing your engagements to say, hey, look, I think this one's going good or this one's not going so good. Bad news does not get better with time. So I feel like that's a big thing too in being able to manage that client relationship. Obviously, there's other things that go into it, such as billings. I need to make sure I collect on my receivables. I handle my receivables on my engagements. I make sure, obviously, whoever is a partner on the account, I kind of work hand in hand with him on that. So it's like I'm kind of running a business in a way too, especially now at my level. You look at it a lot more, obviously, I love accounting, I love debits and credits, I love audit, but I now look at it more like a business. Like, okay, how profitable are we? Am I collecting on my receivables? How old are my receivables? Are we going to continue to build this relationship? Can I get a referral from my client? There's so many different things that go into just kind of managing the client relationship that I have to do. Fourth thing that I do is business development. I am expected, in a way, not directly, it's not like I have a sales quota or anything like that, but, I am expected, especially now as it's going to be my second year as a senior manager this year. I am expected to be involved in pursuits, and I want to do that. I mean, that's what I like to do. I like proposing on new work. I like meeting new clients. I like working on I love working on new engagements. I love working with new management teams. That's what I like about the job. Honestly, I love that part of the job. The debits and credits is great. Yeah, sure. I love it too, but I really, really enjoy the sales portion of it. Like, that's just who I am. I like it. That's why I came back to public accounting after being a corporate controller. Even though being a corporate controller was great and it was a great experience in and of itself, it wasn't what I wanted to do right now, if that makes any sense. I really like my lifestyle right now. Obviously, I will say the hours sometimes are difficult. I can even say that right now. I've been doing it for almost 10 years, and yeah, they are hard sometimes. Just during busy season, okay? I want to make sure I kind of stress that. Outside of busy season, it really isn't that bad. I feel like I have more time off outside of busy season than most of the peers I know in private. Especially that, I kind of get to work from home, or I work remotely a lot, especially outside of peak season. My summers are freaking fantastic. They're great. The hours are awesome. I actually like audit work within itself. So it's really cool. I enjoy it. Again, it's just the busy seasons that are difficult and they are tough. I think with AI, I think things will begin to change, but that's a whole separate video. But yeah, business development. It's a huge part of what I do now. Proposals, meeting new clients, and just becoming more of having more of that partner mindset is a big part of my job. And lastly, networking. I think networking is critical. Again, internally and externally. I say this to all my young CPAs, young accountants. Let's say you're in tax, right? And you're a tax guy and you're first year and you're just kind of trying to understand what's going on and you're a little confused, and that's fine. But let's say in the back of your head, man, I want to start my own tax practice. I want to do individual returns and S corps and LLCs. Dude, start building your network now, right now. Right now that you're a freaking first year and you want to start your practice in 4 years, start building your practice. Start building that practice right now. Start building the connections. Start becoming a person. Start branding yourself online with people that you know. with everybody. Start branding yourself as a person that does tax, that knows individual tax, that knows S corps, that knows, I don't know, state tax or whatever. I'm just giving you an example, but start branding yourself and networking with people so they know you exactly. Right when they think of your name, they're like, oh, like when people now, I'm thankfully building the social media presence. I'm trying to build this channel. I'm trying to build my TikTok. I'm trying to build awareness around accounting and audit and the CPA lifestyle, like I say. It's so funny that now people will, see me or they know me and they'll talk to me and they right away they know like, oh yeah, Bryan's CPA, like he's the guy. I can't tell you how many people, I would lie to you if I didn't tell you, like, man, I start my own practice sometimes, or I should do my own taxes sometimes, because I literally get, I promise you, at least 4 to 5 DMs a week. I'm not kidding you, about, hey, do you do taxes? Hey, you seem like I watch your videos. Do you do this? Or, hey, I've seen you on TikTok. Can you do XYZ? There's so many different things that come from you networking and going to meet different people and you branding yourself in a way. So if your long-term goal is maybe to have your own practice, I think that's awesome. I think that's freaking amazing. Start branding that now. Start networking now. Start meeting people now. Start networking now. It doesn't matter how young you are, even if it's networking internally. Building those relationships now, 3, 4, 5 years from now, you're going to see that, hey, you have friends that are, at whatever, all these cool companies, maybe they started their own thing, and you're going to be like, man, that's freaking awesome. Like those people, not only do you know them, they know you. And that's the most important thing. So yeah, hopefully that kind of clarifies what I do. And I guess it answers also the question of, is my job harder now as a senior manager? Yeah, I would say so, kind of, but not really either. Because again, when I was a first year, doing a bank reconciliation was my whole life and my whole world. And I thought if I didn't do it right, I was going to get fired. So, it's all relative. And whatever you're going through, as long as if you're struggling through it, it's probably a good thing, because I promise you at the other side of struggle is going to be success, and you're going to be able to know how to do it. You're going to be able to teach it. You're going to be able to show it to people, and you're going to be able to do it the next time you come across it. You're going to be able to do it no problem. And then people are going to see like, man, this guy can do a bank rec. Like, that's freaking awesome. And that's where your experience comes in, and that's where opportunities come from, and that's where your expertise comes from, and that's where confidence comes from. And from that, you'll be able to flourish into an awesome CPA. All right, guys, it's going to be it for the video today. If you found value in the video, please make sure to smash the like button below for the YouTube algorithm. Till next time, work hard, dress well, peace.